area of controversy here because over the last few days, my God!
The 1970s hold a special place in car culture. The muscle car era was winding down, and new regulations meant a shift in production. However, not all these changes were aesthetically pleasing. Today we're counting down 10 of the ugliest cars in the 1970s.
This will be interesting.
We'll explore some seriously questionable design choices, odd proportions, and head-scratching taste. Our list will guarantee to have you laughing, reminiscing, and maybe even a little thankful for modern car design. Number 10, 1970, AMC Gremlin. The 1970 AMC Gremlin holds a unique place in automotive history. Introduced at a time when gas prices were soaring and practicality was king, the Gremlin offered a shockingly affordable option. It was priced at a steal which was 2/3 the cost of most small cars on the market. However, that affordability came at a price in the looks department. The Gremlin's chopped proportions, blunt front end, and awkward rear end earned it a reputation for being ugly. Even AMC's design chief Dick Teague admitted they narrowly avoided an even more aesthetically challenged design. However, despite its questionable looks, the Gremlin was a surprise hit. It was cheap to build, found a niche in the market, and became a sales success for AMC, proving that sometimes practicality trumps beauty, at least in the eyes of some car buyers. Strangely enough, the Gremlin could have been even worse. Thankfully, AMC designers opted against an even more truncated version, leaving us with the lesser evil of the Gremlin's now iconic, albeit peculiar, design.
Well, that's a little strange.
Number 9, 1975, British Leyland Princess. The 1975 British Leyland Princess embodies everything questionable about 1970s British Leyland. Originally a confused medley of Austin, Morris, and Wolseley badges, it eventually became its own mark, a term used so loosely it practically whispered identity crisis. The princess's wedge shape promised sleek modernity, but the execution landed squarely in the odd category. It sported a vestigial rear end, resembling a hatchback that forgot its calling. Accessing any semblance of trunk space required wrestling with a disappointingly tiny lid. This impractical design flaw was just one layer on a cake of questionable choices. Reliability, a hallmark of neither BL nor the Princess, ensured a generous helping of breakdowns on the side of the road. Interestingly, the Princess's arrival neatly coincided with the collapse of British Leyland, necessitating a government bailout. While correlation doesn't equal causation, it's hard not to see the Princess as a metaphor for the era's troubled British auto industry.
This is very unattractive.
Number 8, 1977, Datsun 200 SX. By the late 70s, Datsun, which was later Nissan, was a sure bet in the US. They offered reliable econo-boxes like the B210 and 510, and iconic sports cars like the 240Z. Then came the 1977 Datsun 200 SX. This rear-wheel drive coupe packed a 2-liter engine, but its most striking feature was a grille that seemed inspired by an electric razor.
A razor?
Surprisingly, complaints about the car's limited rear visibility were scarce, likely because there just weren't many buyers. The 200 SX was neither sporty enough for enthusiasts nor fuel-efficient enough for budget-minded drivers. The only thing the 200 SX seemed truly enthusiastic about was rusting, which it did with alarming speed. The 200 SX devoured itself from the inside out, ensuring there are few left to inflict aesthetic pain today.
It all sounds hideous.
Yes. I thought that's what you'd say.
Number 7, 1974, Vanden Plas 1500. The 1970s saw a boom in badge engineering, where manufacturers slapped a new badge on a car to create a seemingly more luxurious version. While American automakers were also guilty of this, British Leyland took it to a whole new level with the Vanden Plas 1500. At its core, the Vanden Plas 1500 was nothing more than a gussied-up Austin Allegro, a car widely considered as miserable. So how did British Leyland justify nearly doubling the price tag? A chrome grille, luxurious leather seats, plush carpets, and fold-down walnut tables in the back. Presumably, these were for enjoying a leisurely lunch while waiting for the inevitable roadside assistance. The Vanden Plas 1500 wasn't a bad idea in theory. Offering a touch of luxury in a small package could be appealing. In execution, however, it fell flat. The hefty price increase for questionable upgrades couldn't mask the underwhelming foundation.
It was unpleasant.
Number 6, 1972, Subaru GL Coupe. In the 1970s, Japanese car makers were popular in America for their practical, fuel-efficient cars. Subaru tried to join in with the stylish 1972 GL Coupe, but it didn't go as planned. The car ended up looking more awkward than innovative. The main problem was its weird shape. It looked like a regular sedan that got stretched too much, especially in the back. The back half seemed like it had been shrunk in a malfunctioning car wash, leaving it with mismatched taillights and a strange bumper. The car looked like it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. Even though the GL Coupe wasn't pretty, it shows that even big car companies can make design mistakes. Thankfully, Subaru learned from this and now makes cars that are both practical and stylish.
Unequivocally, a mistake's been made.
Number 5, 1970 Porsche 914. The 1970 Porsche 914 is hard to describe easily. While some mid-engine cars look perfect, the 914 has a different look. Its shape is unusual. There's a lot of empty space between the back of the car and the rear wheels, and the top part of the car, including the windows and roof, tilts awkwardly backward. The design is all sharp angles and minimal decoration. But this quirky look is what some people love about the 914. It's a car that doesn't try to be fancy, unlike most Porsches. It might not be the prettiest car, but its unique charm wins over those who like different and unusual things. The 914 shows that sometimes the most lovable things come in unexpected forms.
I think it's fantastic. Has a certain indefinable charm.
Number 4, 1973, Reliant Robin. Three-wheeled cars often aren't considered good-looking, and the 1973 Reliant Robin doesn't help their reputation. This small car doesn't just look bad, it looks desperate. Unlike its earlier version, the Reliant Regal, which had some charm, the Robin looks like the last choice for people who couldn't afford a regular car. Its big, round headlights give it a pleading look, and the overall design screams cheap. The single wheel in the back and the lack of style make it hard to love. However, despite its looks, it was a cheap and practical car, especially in the UK, where it could be driven with a motorcycle license. The Robin may not have been pretty, but it was affordable and practical, which some people appreciated.
Help! Again, help!
Number 3, 1974, Bricklin SV-1. Malcolm Bricklin, who brought the Subaru 360 and Yugo to America, tried making his own car, the 1974 Bricklin SV-1. As the name suggests, Safety Vehicle 1, it focused on safety, but the design suffered. The SV-1 had huge bumpers, small windows, and odd wheels that looked like they belonged on a disco-themed van. But the problems weren't just about looks. The car was poorly made, the body panels warped easily, the hidden headlights often didn't work, and it had many leaks. The heavy gull-wing doors, which weighed 90 pounds, were a big issue. They often didn't work right due to electrical problems or broke under the pressure of their hydraulic system. The Bricklin SV-1 was frustrating both to look at and to own.
I'm sure that must be frustrating.
Number 2, 1974 Sebring-Vanguard CitiCar. The 1974 Sebring-Vanguard CitiCar, later called the commuter car, played an important role in early electric cars. It looked like a golf cart on steroids with a boxy design to keep costs low. It had a small 2.5 horsepower electric motor, later 6 horsepower. It was very slow, taking 6.2 seconds to reach 25 miles per hour, far from the 60 miles per hour some mistakenly claimed. The CitiCar's range was also limited, going up to 40 miles on one charge. In the late 70s, commuter vehicles bought the design and renamed it the commuter car. Their worst idea? Adding ugly bumper extensions. It was a strange choice for a car already on the edge of embarrassment. Despite its flaws, the CitiCar shouldn't be laughed at completely. It was a brave try at making an electric car when most cars used a lot of gas. The CitiCar shows the beginnings of electric vehicles, paving the way for the better models we have today.
You actually spent money on that?
Yep.
Look at this thing, it's junk.
No, it's not a junk.
That's not junk.
No, it's not.
Number 1, 1974 Ford Mustang II Ghia. Now, we're not going to rehash the whole debate about whether the downsized Mustang II was a triumph or a disaster. We'll save that for another day, but one thing's for sure, the Mustang II looked goofy on its best days. Sure, the regular Mustang II wasn't exactly a looker, but the Ghia version, however, took things to a whole new level of visual offense. Apparently at Ford, They believed any car could be transformed by the magic touch of opera windows. Shrinking the classic Mustang was one thing, but then trying to give it a luxury makeover with a padded vinyl roof that screamed formal wear with color-matched bumpers? And let's not forget the cherry on top, hubcaps borrowed straight from the uninspiring Ford Granada. The Mustang 2 sold well, but let's be honest, the Ghia wasn't exactly a driving force behind those sales figures.
Well, believe me, it's not really that bad.
Well, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments which car you think deserves a spot on this list. And when you're done, why not check out some of my other videos? Until next time.